Hey guys, what's up? I'm playing private mode, so I don't have to like talk and people hear me all the time, because that's really annoying. But hello, what's up, everybody? Yeah. Fuck, oh my god. I just woke up a minute ago, and I just saw it, and I played a couple games. This, I said, hey, let's talk about why I play this game so obsessively. So I play this game a shit ton. Now, I usually live stream most games that I play on PS4 just because I like to record it, because why not? But, I mean, I play this game obsessively. Any free time I have has gone into this game, specifically. And so I might as well talk about why I like this game so much, because this game is pretty freaking good. So, I am playing private mode because I am gay. So I guess we should talk about what the game is. So basically the point is that there's two teams. There's the Predator and then there's the Fire team. Fire team basically gets what you see here. Shut the fuck up for a minute, Mr. Sark. But basically the point is that there's the Predator and then there's 4 Fire team members that have to go around completing objectives, and at the end they have to exfil out. The Predator's job is to kill the 4 Fire team members and prevent them from completing their mission. Now this could be a whole host of objectives the Fire team has to do, such as I mean, again, it could be a whole host of things, but a couple of things include, you know, hacking into enemy computers and stuff like that, doing a bunch of other menial tasks. Now, of course, I don't have a Predator here, unfortunately. That's just because I'm playing offline, so I don't annoy people with the fact that I'm talking so much. But basically, you're just trying as Fire team, gotta move to different objectives. A cool little thing you can do with Fire team to prevent the Predator from using thermal vision is by muddying yourself up. And what this does basically prevents a thermal footprint, and it makes it so you're harder to see on thermal. Now the effects do go away after a while, so just be ready for that. But I'm not here to explain the game, I'm here to explain why it's so good. And that's mostly because this game is extremely addictive. No matter, you can play as the Predator, you know, or you can play as a Fire team member fully, and or you can play as random, so you can randomize the game, so you don't know what team you're going to be on. As the Fire team member, it's easier to stick together and do these objectives. But not only is there 2 teams, there's also a neutral faction. Now the neutral faction is the guerrillas, or the PMCs. And what they do is they're just AIs that are on the map that try to stop you from completing your mission and stuff like that. And they're basically just another bad guy to fight. And because they're neutral, because they will fight both the Predator, and what are they called? The Predator, and they will also fight the Fire team. So they also are a threat, but they're not as big of a threat as the Predator. Now the Predator has a whole host of awesome things that they can do. One of them being going invisible, another one using thermal, and one of them is they get to use a giant freaking leap. And they can jump from tree to tree to get good vantage points. Not only that, they are extremely deadly. The Predator is extremely deadly close quarters, but also could be just as difficult to take care of far away too. So you gotta watch out for those guys. While we're on the subject of deadly, Fire team actually has a disadvantage going in. The Predator actually has a huge disadvantage going into the map at first. Because the Predator doesn't know exactly where they spawn in, as the Fire team get to choose where they spawn in from, the Predator doesn't know exactly where they're spawning in from, meaning that while he may know the exact spawn points for each specific map if he, you know, plays the game for long enough, he won't know where exactly they're spawning in, which gives Fireteam a little bit of an advantage to go forward. Unfortunately, if the Predator does know the map layout, he will know exactly where the first objective is. So he can meet you halfway if he really wanted to, and jump you or, you know, engage you at the first objective, which honestly is pretty difficult to take care of at the beginning. I think the hardest thing is that the Predator can heal himself a couple times, and because the Predator can heal himself, it is very difficult to combat him at the beginning, and you're gonna have to whittle down his supplies, which is really annoying. I think what I like most about this game is the fact that you're not only are you trying to survive a Predator, but you're also trying to survive the PMCs and the locals in the area, which gives it a whole nother like risk factor. I'm just gonna say, for lack of better terms. Although the PMCs aren't that deadly, I think the only ones that are really deadly are the Juggernaut PMCs. The Juggernauts and the armored PMCs. Those guys are really the like difficult neutral faction enemy you're gonna face. Now, while you're in the jungle, there are gonna be these optional missions. These optional missions just grant you extra money at the end of the game, or Viridium. I think that's what it's called. The Viridium? Is it called Viridium? I don't know what it's called.
Reinforcements are on the way.
What I like about this game, though, instead of, you know, if a player leaves, they're gone, you just have one less player, it turns into a bot. Now, the bots aren't exactly the smartest things in the world. In fact, the bots are on a follow system, which means that they don't have which means that the map creator, sorry, not the map creator, the developer, sorry, didn't implement AI nodes into the game, which means that the AI can't follow a system of nodes. Basically, it's like a tether that keeps AI moving from position to position. When it's triggered by, you know, triggered by a human. So basically, AIs will move on the. So basically, how the game works is that AIs can move freely with nodes, and now these nodes will keep them in like a set parameter, so they won't be going, you know, out of the map anytime soon. But all these nodes do is give them like little checkpoints that they can follow and move freely. This game goes off the follow system, which basically means that the only node that the AI has is the player themselves. Now, this can be a problem for many reasons, as if you're playing with more than one player, it is extremely difficult for the AI to figure out where exactly it's going to be going. So usually, certain games have a system where, like Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead is a perfect example of a follow node, or a following system, where, you know, the AI will follow the player. Now, the game also if there are two players, Left 4 Dead comes up with a really good solution. That if there are two players, the follow system will go off of a split, which basically means that it will be half and half. So let's say there is Coach and Ellie. Let's just say Coach and Ellie are, not Coach and Ellie, Coach and Rochelle are the players, and Nick and Elias are the, AI. The system, when it does is that Nick, it splits up. So, for example, Nick will follow Coach, and then Elias, or, how do you pronounce his name? Ellis? Oh my god, it's Ellis. Holy shit. I call him Elias. It's Ellis, sorry. And then Ellis will follow Rochelle. Unfortunately, from what I've seen, this game doesn't do that, and the AI will just pick a set player to follow. Well, again, that's not exactly a bad thing, and it forces players to stick together, as Fireteam needs to stick together. Now, the problem I have with that is that if there's a player that just refuses to go with the objective and wants to hunt down the Predator, if the AI follows the player that's going after the Predator, unfortunately, that could screw up the game entirely. Now, for Fireteam, there are many ways you can play this game, and there are many endings depending on how you play. There's the obvious tried and true method. There's the obvious one where you complete all the objectives and you exfil out. That's the easiest one. But then there are two other endings that you can get as well. There's one where you kill the Predator and you fail to deactivate these the self-destruct. In which case, if you make it out of the blast radius, you get exfilled out, and I don't OWLF I think comes in and take control over the mission. There's the one where you disable, and then there's the one where you disable his self-destruct if he activates it, and then you keep his body, and then OWLF comes in and you get exfilled out.
I've got full access. I'm sending coordinates for exfil now. Mission accomplished.
PMC.
So there are many ways you can play this game. There are many different tactics. There are many different characters, each with their own set of skills and advantages and disadvantages. In fact, this game goes so far as to and I'll show you here what I mean with the follow system. Instead of like going their own separate way, they will find the closest way to get to me. So instead of like, you know, going off on their own to the objective or anything like that, they will just stand here and wait for me. But that's not, well, entirely that's not a bad thing on its own. I guess coming back to it, really the only issue is if you have more than one player. Again, though, there are certain games that go around this by splitting up the AI just to make it fair for both players and make it easier for both players. There are some games that where the AI just pick a character and follow him, and then that could you know, screw up the game for players. Now here's the armored PSC that I'm showing you now. He's not exactly a juggernaut, but he's armored and he's really annoying. Yeah.
How many of these guys are there?
But I'll show you here the exfil. So basically, the exfil isn't exactly really an exfil just yet. You actually have to hold out one more time. Now this is possibly the hardest place to defend from a predator, because of the fact you have to be so close to the exfil site, as you only have a set time once exfil gets here to actually, you know, get out. You know, it's difficult. It's no question that this part's difficult. But again, you can muddy yourself up. In fact, characters have unique dialogue, like enemies have unique dialogue if you are muddied up and they see you. Yeah, you can see one over there, they got camo. I mean, you're not really wearing camo. I mean, the mud is camouflage, but you're not actually wearing camo. Not only that, the predator can actually help unknowingly help the survivors, or not the survivors. Sorry, I keep saying the survivors because I keep thinking like the Left 4 Dead 2 now. But they can actually help the fire team, because as long as the predator is in the area, the predator can inadvertently set off the AI's awareness and will put them on alert. Not only does that give the the fire team a tip off, like the predator's been here. If the predator actually stays there long enough, the AI will actually set off the alarm, and holy shit, that is an easy way to get money. I didn't think I'd actually get any rewards for that. That's not okay. Actually, that's not fucking okay. But I like this game because of the fact that you go in, the fire team goes in, and it's not just, okay, survive the predator. It's more along the lines of do the mission and watch out for the predator. And I think that's pretty cool. Another thing I really like is the fact that it really gives you a sense of unknowing, because you don't know where the predator is at all until, you know, he's there attacking you. And basically what that forces is it forces the game to, not forces the game, it forces the players, sorry, to actually have to work together in order to survive, because the predator on its own is one of the most deadly, like, enemy, like, team, like, bosses, whatever, or, like, ever. But yeah, I guess to wrap this up, this game is extremely fun to play, and I definitely recommend it. And this game is free for the month of, what's it, September? This game is free for the month of September. If you act quickly, you can get this game yourself. If you have PS Plus. And I highly recommend it. Like, this game is definitely worth PS Plus. I'm just gonna come on and say right now, this game is worth the PS Plus. Just get it. You will not be disappointed. I can assure you that you will not be disappointed if you get this game. If you like this, if you like the objective-based survival, then this game is absolutely going to be right for you. And I think that this game is great, personally. And well, I'm going to go grind for money because I didn't know that you could do that, and that was incredibly easy. So I'll catch you all later, guys.